About an hour before we walked into this studio, serious breaking news report surfacing out of Germany that Dayot Upamecano will join Bayern Munich this summer. They are ready to pay that 43 million euro buyout clause for the very coveted central defender. First, though, let's check in on how his team did Friday. The lone match in the Bundesliga, Leipzig then 2-1 winners over Augsburg. They held on at the end, a goal in the 38th from Dani Olmo. And then 5 minutes later from Christopher Nkunku for Leipzig. Augsburg get a consolation goal late, but it finishes 2-1. And those 3 points are huge for Leipzig in terms of the title race. They now shrink that lead between them and Bayern Munich to just 4 points. Munich won't play until Monday as they return from the FIFA Club World Cup. For more on Upamecano, we got Aage Fjortoft, we got Craig Burley. Jan, I'll start with you. Just a power move here from Bayern Munich against their nearest title rivals.
Which is very typical Bayern and unfortunately very typical German football. Bayern has done this for years. They did it with Werder Bremen when they were the main challengers. Remember Andreas Herzog or Frings and whatever they were all called. They took their best players. Then Dortmund went into the title race, challenging them, winning some competition, taking Götze, taking Hummels, taking Lewandowski, and now Upamecano for 33 million euro. Having said that, it is good work by Bayern because I think there is a reason why they do timing now. Maybe it is a sidekick also to RB Leipzig to unsettle them, but it's also answering to the situation with they have with their centre halves. Remember, Alaba very close signing for Real Madrid. Boateng, his future a bit uncertain. So I think this is also a power move from Bayern to say, listen, we got it all under control. And respect to Bayern, they have to find and get the best players in the Bundesliga to compete for the big places in Europe.
Craig, on this show, we're always grasping at straws, hoping to make a race to this Bundesliga thing. But man, when Bayern Munich can go out and do this to the next best team in the league, it seems like a title race is really a pie-in-the-sky dream.
Well, it certainly doesn't help, does it? But as Jan said, you know, Bayern have to keep their own house in order, and we can agree or disagree about how they've gone about their business, you know, publicly in the past. But that's what they do. They are the powerhouse in German football. And it's akin to what Rangers and Celtic used to do in Scotland. They still do to some extent, but they used to do with greater effect. Before the influx of all the European players, Rangers and Celtic would go around Scottish football, plucking all the best players, strengthening themselves and weakening the rest. So it's very, very similar here. The only difference is that they've signed a player that most of the big clubs in Europe were probably looking at trying to sign. You know, Liverpool were looking at him. There was others looking at him. Man United were linked with him. Bayern have got him. And for that release clause as well. I mean, I saw a line from somewhere that said, oh, it's a steep price. I mean, what, for a youngster, one of the best defenders in the world at 42 and a bit million or whatever it is, in this day and age when people are going for crazy money, this is great business for Bayern.
You know, to be fair, Shaka, these rumors have been around for quite a while. Nagelsmann came out, I think, a week ago and said, look, nobody here is getting their head turned by this. But we just saw the table. This is a real title race. If you're Upamecano, how does your head not get turned?
Listen, I think it's part and parcel of today's game, that linking with other clubs and the speculation that comes with it. And you learn to handle it, just as you learn to handle the big salaries that some people think was a deterrent or a distraction to talented footballers. That's certainly not proved to be the case. On the one hand, yes, the announcement now, with this title race as close as it is, doesn't do RB Leipzig any favors, and that's putting it as nice as I can. But then, on the other, this is business as usual, both in the Bundesliga for Bayern Munich and in today's football. And if you're Bayern Munich and you recognize the talent that is Upamecano, his contract expires in 2023, which means this summer it's 2 years to go, or everything will start happening. You feel the shift of power normally is in that 2-year mark where the player then starts to dictate a whole lot more. With the likes of Real Madrid interested in centre halves, with both Varane and Sergio Ramos, like moves away. Barcelona, you call a big club in world football looking for centre-backs. This is just good business. Even if you question the timing, you don't want to let it get to the summer when it becomes a free-for-all with every big club in Europe interested.
No doubt about it. Jan, Bayern Munich just continue to get better and better. Is that a good thing or a bad thing overall for German football?
Well, it's a good thing for Bayern. It's a good thing for German football that Bayern will be competitive in the Champions League, winning titles also internationally like they've done this week. But I would say for the credibility of German football, it's not good. I would rather see Upamecano. Having said that, I'm very respectful for the business Bayern have done. I would have liked to see him go abroad, because it's a big problem that Bayern will win the league every season, and that is bad for the German league. And we know the English fans, they call, well, to be fair to the English football fans, they call every league from Mickey Mouse leagues, and it's Farmers League and so on. But this kind of strengthened that view, that branding of Bayern. Imagine now if Manchester United or Manchester City bought one of their main players. I mean, this is a main player for RB Leipzig. Yes, they have 2 or 3 with Orban or Konate, different defenders there. But Upamecano is one of the most wanted defenders in centre half, like Shaka said. So it's not good for the credibility of the German Bundesliga, but it's very, very good for Bayern. This could be one of the best business will be done this season.
Jan, I'm interested to know, Jan, you're probably going to be able to explain this to me and to the viewers. Why have RB Leipzig allowed it to happen and go public now? The players, as Shaka mentioned, is not out of contract for a couple of years, so he's not free to talk to other clubs at will, like players in the last 6 months of the contract. Why are RB Leipzig not leaving it to the summer when I know the player's got a buyout clause, but it could become an auction? And, RB Leipzig could get maybe double what they're getting when it goes into an auction. Why have they allowed it to happen like this, or has it been the player and his representatives that have pushed for this?
Well, it's a very good question, and I think that what you have to understand is the culture in Germany. Sometimes it's RB Leipzig getting a player on their clause. We once made a table over people who know something that is very, very secret in football. We did that when Mario Götze went from Dortmund to Bayern. I had the pleasure of revealing that story. And we came out that there must be 50 or 60 people knowing about this. In Germany, the journalists, the agents, the clubs, the different clubs, they are two very, very close to each other. And as I said at the beginning, this is always also a win for Bayern to get this public. And there is no one who can make that power battle better than Bayern. And would RB Leipzig wish to let this go to after Champions League, after the Bundesliga is over? Of course they would. But there were too many advantages also for the player to sort out his future, and secondly, Bayern to sort out the reputation of the club. After now, Boateng will probably leave. This is the signal for him to find a new club, and Alaba leaving for Real Madrid, or maybe an English club just at the end if something should happen with money-wise with Real Madrid.
Jan, can I ask, you see this is damaging to German football or Bayern's dominance, and players like Upamecano moving from German club to German club. But isn't it better for the Bundesliga to have a club like Bayern Munich winning 6 titles in a season? Doesn't that do more for all of German football? And I know Bayern Munich have won, 9 titles in a row, but still, the gap at the top of the Bundesliga between them and Leipzig right now is less than the gap between Manchester City and Manchester United, for argument's sake, in the Premier League. So doesn't a strong Bayern have a knock-on effect to the rest of the Bundesliga?
I think that as a strong Bayern will do ever so well for German football. That is about credibility, their branding, commercial sponsor, TV rights, and so on. But remember, Borussia Dortmund, RB Leipzig, they are clubs who are working very, very hard to kind of take that gap, get a bit closer to Bayern. And I think that is something to do also with foreign fans like myself who love a lot of football leagues. And I think it's quite hard to explain to the Dortmund fans that it's good for them that Bayern win every title. Not only the cups they leave for the competitors, but I think it's it's an interesting thought, Shaka, because it's good for German football that they show that they are up there with the best in the world. But I think that every league, I mean, Craig and me have been discussing, we were talking about Scottish League, and you compare it with Celtic and Rangers winning 9 in a row and so on. But it just gives you a bit B kind of thing that when you don't have new winners of the league. And at the time when Klopp was there, it was so great to have this competition between Borussia Dortmund and Bayern. And yes, RB Leipzig is getting closer to them. RB Leipzig working very, very hard to narrow that gap. And then when you just hope there is a title fight, they buy their best defender and make them unsettled. And I think today as well, you saw it, Upamecano was on the bench. Whatever happened, they didn't put him on today. So it kind of mix up the whole circle of German football.
Shaka, we did get a good look at Leipzig today. You think they're good enough with Upamecano for a few more months to push Bayern?
I don't think they have enough attacking punch. And you saw that against Augsburg, a team in the lower reaches of the Bundesliga. And as much as they ran out 2-0 winners, or 2-1 winners, excuse me, I just felt as an attacking force, again, thinking of a team in the bottom half of the Bundesliga against a team pushing or supposedly trying to push Bayern Munich at the top of the table, I just didn't feel they created enough or looked like they had enough firepower.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.